Hi, my name is Diane, and I'm finally retired, and now I am doing what I've been wanting to do my whole life, which is to become a full-time potter. Prior to retirement, it was weekends. Saturday morning, I would get up and come in here and just start working frantically because I had deadlines to meet. I had shows, I had gallery openings, whatever the case may be. I had gone and sat at my wheel prior to retiring going, this is my time now. I'm going to get in there, start producing pots and get some good inventory. And I couldn't sit at the wheel. It was like a knife just stabbing me. And I was horrified. I was like, how could this happen now? How ironic that all these years I finally retired, sit at the wheel, I can't do it. The pain did start a long time ago, but it was minor. But as time went on, the pain was getting worse and worse and worse to the point where I just couldn't deny it anymore. I talked to my friend, asked her to please recommend a surgeon that I could go and see, and she did recommend Dr. Trapp. So I made an appointment with him. You know, he said, yeah, bone on bone, you definitely need hip replacement. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that. So it was a while. I've known that I needed one for, well, definitely 5 years that I knew him, but even before that. When I first heard the word surgery, I was scared. I'm like, oh. But as I got to know Dr. Trapp, I lost that fear. I was mentally ready at that point to totally commit that this was not going to be my life of pain, but it was going to turn around for me, which it did.
So in my opinion, I think it's every bit as important to be mentally ready to go through the operation as it is medically ready to go through it. Here at the Total Joint Program at Crystal Run Healthcare, we've spent a lot of time and effort planning for a great patient experience that leads to a great outcome.
And so he told me about the procedure and that I did not have to go to a hospital and I probably didn't even need rehab, and that I could go home the same day. And I looked at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, let's do it. The care that I received at Crystal Run was amazing. Post-surgery, 2 lovely nurses came over. They hung out and had this long conversation with me. We talked about what we did and children and retirement for me. And then one of them stated, well, what are you going to be doing for retirement? And I said, well, I'm a potter, so I plan on being in the studio. Her eyes lit up and she's like, no way. She goes, do you give lessons? And I'm like, I don't, but I would. So she slit me her email address. And, you know, I give kudos to the staff there because they really know what they're doing and made me personally feel very comfortable.
I compare what we do sort of to carpentry. Total joint replacement, hip replacement, or knee replacement, it's similar to like coming up to the door. You just can't open the door because the hinge not working. So my job is to replace that hinge, plane the door, get it set so they can walk through that door and get on with the rest of their life doing things they want to do. In total joint replacement surgery, I think there's a lot of options to do it. About 8 years ago, I started doing a superior approach, which goes through the top of the hip. And I think it has all the added benefits of any procedure out there. It's not no pain, but significantly less pain. I don't have to put patients on motion restrictions after the operation. And because of the increased mobility and decreased pain, patients are able to get out of an ambulatory surgery center within 5 hours and get back to things that they want to do much sooner than they would with some traditional technique. To my knowledge, we're one of 2 ambulatory surgery centers who perform a superior approach total hip replacement here in the Northeast area of the United States.
About 6 weeks after the surgery, I sat at the wheel and there was absolutely no pain. And I just couldn't believe it. Without pain, everything is just so much easier. So I brought 2 mugs for Dr. Trapp. It was a thank you from the heart, but it was also, this is what I can do now. And this is how appreciative I am that you are such a talented surgeon, which he is.
It was a really cool experience to receive the 2 mugs from Diane. Not only because it was a gift the patient gave me, but that's why she did the operation, to be able to get back to being a potter. It became even more special as my wife and I had coffee for the first time on them on a Sunday morning. It was a really good experience.
A couple of months later, or maybe a month and a half later, when everything was back and getting back to normal, I found her email address and I emailed her. Megan, my post-op nurse, and she showed up at one of the, I think it was a little farmer's market that I was doing. She showed up with her husband and, you know, I just fell in love with her. She's such a lovely girl. And she started taking lessons and we have been doing them ever since and we've become great friends. I would absolutely recommend Crystal Run Ambulatory Surgery because I had such a good experience.
The people of Crystal Run Healthcare. Changing healthcare, changing lives.